What's up, everyone? Dan here, Crypto Capital Venture, June 23rd, 2019. Technically the third video of the day. Did one last night at midnight. Did one earlier today. Now I'm doing another one. Why not? It's Sunday. It's a beautiful day. Hope you all had a good day. In this video, we're going to talk about Litecoin and Bitcoin, both consolidating a little bit. Nothing crazy. I'm sure many people are freaking out, but it's nothing crazy. It's good. It's a good thing. If you're a replay viewer, I'll put some timestamps so you can kind of go right to it. I will give it a few minutes to get started, but in general, the main point of this video is to tell you, if you're new to the space, especially if you're new to crypto and you're kind of trying to get a feel for the flow, the speed, I want to let you know this little pullback that we're currently having is nothing. It's always nice. It's the shock of it all, right? And actually, just for context, it's even hard to call this any type of consolidation and pullback. Obviously, we were above 11,000. We're at 11,200 2 4-hour candles ago. You can see it here on the chart, and now we're down 6%. It's nothing. It's nothing. But the shock of it is when I think the markets are enjoying upside and enjoying breaking these huge levels, 10,000, 11,000. I think it's just that emotional shock of it. Like, being down 6% is nothing, but I think people tend to freak out a little bit. Well, you see it on social media because it's killing the dream. You want to break 12,000 next, right? You want to stay above 11,000. It just didn't happen. We're back below 11,000. So, don't be scared, homies. Yeah, it's actually great advice. Don't be scared. Anybody that's new, what's up, Michael? I see you here in the chats. Steven is here. What's up, Steven? Awesome meeting you last night, dude. Really awesome. So we're going to talk about that in this video. Generally, not only why pullbacks are good and important, we're gonna look at historically what has happened in terms of pullbacks, and then we're gonna look at some actual price points in terms of if this consolidation continues, what to look for to the downside. I feel like I always talk about downside even when we're going up. Many people don't like that. It's not the most popular thing, and so I've actually toned it down a little bit. I don't talk about downside as much. It's always on my mind. I use it for my purposes. I don't talk about it as much because I think a lot of people don't like it. But when we're actually down a little bit and people are raising their eyebrow and wondering what's going on, I feel like I have more of a right to talk about it, or at least more of an opening to talk about it. So that's what this video is about. It's about the consolidation and what's going on. Poseidon Lou, what is up? I see you. I see you in the chats. I think we're good. I think we can get the video started. 3 minutes, 30 seconds, timestamp. Jumping into the charts. Trying to think what chart I want to start on. I think I want to start here. This is just the daily chart. This is what it's looking like. And I'll kind of minimize this Fibonacci for a second. There's two things on this chart that I want to talk about. Number one, it's not the 12,700 target to the upside. We have that. I've talked about multiple times in the last week. It's in these videos, probably the last couple weeks, right? We have that target to the upside. It's still there. What I want to talk about is to the downside in this video. So there's 3 points to it. Number one is a trend line that we want to keep an eye on, a very important trend line. And then there's 2 Fibonacci's that I want to look on, one on the daily and one on the 4-hour. I think there's just 3 really good areas. And when we're in any type of downtrend, this is my approach. I'm using these areas in terms of when am I going and buying some cryptocurrency. It's usually these types of things that I'm watching. Heavy buys are usually either on the daily or the weekly, heavy buys. Or if I'm just like, hey, I like buying cryptocurrency no matter where we are, then the daily, the 4-hour provide better context for smaller buys for me. I'm always buying crypto, everybody. Just want to let you know that. Bear market, bull market, just so you get a sense of how my approach is, I'm always buying cryptocurrency. This is long term for me, so these prices either way are fabulous. So just want to point that out. Let's jump in and talk about these 3 areas to the downside that I'm at least keeping an eye on. Very simple areas. Number 1, we have our long-term rising wedge that we've tracked. We've stayed committed to it. I think a huge part of doing technical analysis is staying committed to patterns once you have it set up, right? We have this rising wedge. It broke to downside, false breakout, back up to the lower trend line. Perfect. It played out perfectly. We broke upper trend line, and this whole entire busted rising wedge is still in play right now. And the first trend line we want to just really keep an eye on is this long-term trend line from a swing high back in May, middle of May, over a month now. It's right here. This is that trend line, and I can even move it down a little bit. Chris, I saw you in the super chat. $1.99 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. It was awesome meeting you as well. I think you were the first person that we met when we walked up to the Bitcoin bed meetup yesterday. It was awesome shaking your hand and shaking the hands of many people I have not met. So thank you for the super chat, and also just thank you for welcoming us yesterday. It was awesome. It really was. I appreciate it. Thank you. So upper trend line. This is it. First area. I mean, we can put a price point on it right now, and I should also start utilizing this. There's a tool that I just always forget about. It's a price label. In terms of this upper trend line, the price label, I mean, as of today, in this daily candle that we're in right now, it's around 10,300. I can kind of move it in between today and tomorrow. It's like 10,400. I think is a good price point to just keep an eye on. So that price label right there is 10,398. But you get the idea. This upper trend line, watch it, keep an eye on it. This is what my chart looks like. I don't know if you're charting something similar, but there it is. That's my first area right now. We have a little bit of a mini consolidation happening, right? This is the daily candle we're in. It's very small. It's like 2.5% from open to currently where we've wicked down to, almost 3%, and then to that target price point, 4%, right? It's extremely, in crypto especially, it's like nothing, but it's a very important area, even though it's not too much to the downside. It's very important simply because this long-term pattern that we've been tracking, at least for my technical analysis, is important. So that 10,300 to 10,400, very important area. I want to see what happens there. We always talk about breaking trend lines, upside, downside, revisiting those trend lines, right? This was a big one back here. This took forever. All right, it didn't take forever. It took a couple weeks. But look at that. We broke through the downside and we revisited that trend line. And what happened? Huge bullish break through. We're always looking for things like that. So similarly, we are looking for a revisit to this trend line. That's the first area I'm watching. I'll keep it open on my 4-hour, and we'll see what happens tonight, tomorrow, whenever. But that's the first area. That's not really an area where I'm like buying Bitcoin, but I want to see if there's support there. Very important area of support. In terms of what that will do to the daily RSI, it'll bring it down a little bit, even if it's just slightly below overbought area. That's a really important area to get to. This little channel right here, if you're looking at the RSI, is a really good area to keep an eye on. And I'll highlight this a different color so you can actually see it. Put it darker green. But in the middle of my screen, you have this RSI. We're currently kind of consolidating back down out of that overbought. But this area, we've seen some incredibly strong moves right out of this rectangle you see here on the RSI. Really big moves to the upside in terms of being in this area. So if we get consolidation back down here on the RSI, not a bad thing at all. It could be a really nice setup for what happens next for Bitcoin. In terms of daily chart, be careful. Be very careful. And we're going to talk about larger pullbacks in a few minutes, and this plays into it. It's the daily stock RSI, overbought on the stock RSI, right? Last time we were this overbought, we saw a 30% swing to the downside from swing high, right? And look at this. All right, 26%, not 30%. But last time we were kind of in that overbought in the stock RSI. That's what happens, and it happens over and over again with Bitcoin. So we're up here right now. So be careful. I don't know if you're buying. I don't know if you're trading, but whatever you do, be careful. And that's one indicator. The other indicators, you see our MACD, you see our momentum kind of taking a turn, right? Nothing crazy happening just yet, but kind of taking a turn to the downside. And if we look at MACD in how it kind of tracks and illustrates Bitcoin's momentum, you see when it tops out, this is really what it looks like. You get this lighter shade of green and this downslope. It's very synergistic with what's going on our other momentum oscillators, namely the stock RSI we just talked about. We're getting some strong downward momentum out of overbought area. This is what it looks like on the MACD, right? And we're getting that lighter shade of green right here on the MACD. We're getting that slight little downtrend. Will it continue? If it does continue, there could be some big consolidation in store for Bitcoin. Talking 20-30% consolidation. If that happens, extremely healthy, extremely good. I don't know if other people would agree with me, but those moves are so good. They're so good, especially if you're keen on buying crypto. 20-30% pullbacks are awesome if you want to accumulate in this environment, this environment where we're entering a bullish trend. If I'm under the impression that we're going to be at $100,000 Bitcoin and more eventually, I'm not going to put a timeline on it, then any of these prices are awesome, especially a 30% dip. Awesome. And especially from a mental perspective, if you're accumulating Bitcoin and Litecoin, you want to do it when other people are, freaking out and prices are a little bit cheap on the way up. It's a higher low. Those are the times you want to buy. And if you want to look back on the charts, it's these times. It's right here. It's right here. These higher low areas. Mentally, it'll do you good. I promise. You'll sleep better at night. You really will. So upper trend line, 10,400. First area I want to track. I want to see if we get support there. Second area is this. This is a daily Fibonacci retracement from our swing low, beginning of June 9th or so, to our most previous swing high. Broke $11,000. We're talking from June, we can call it just June 10th to today. Well, I guess I should say June 23rd. This June 23rd candle. Because even though we have a new candle here, it's marked as a June 24th candle. But June 23rd, today. Swing high, 2,500. So 7,500 to 11,200 in less than 2 weeks. In less than 2 weeks, 50% gains for Bitcoin. Talk about strength. Talk about a hint of what's happening right now. So Fibonacci, swing low that we just looked at to that swing high. Next area that I'm looking at. Now this is where I'm like, okay, if we get here, this isn't definite. I want to throw that out there. I never make calls. I give you targets to the upside and downside. So upside targets, look for resistance. 12,700. If we hit it, look for resistance. Downside, look for support. If you're keen on accumulating, this is where I'll be accumulating, right? So anything in that $9,000, probably even to $9,500, I'll be buying I'll be buying a little bit more Bitcoin in those areas. And just for context, so that would be from where we are right now, $9,500, 10%. That can happen in 10 minutes. It's nothing for Bitcoin. To our Fibonacci channel, we have 15 to like 25%, we can call it. So that's our Fibonacci channel. Those are areas where we really look to accumulate. This is our Fibonacci channel. And what's great about this one is it's confluent almost with our 50 moving average on the daily chart, currently around $8,200. It's that area that we talk about seeing gravity, the gravity of the 50 moving average pulling Bitcoin down. Not always exactly touching it, but it just pulls Bitcoin back to reality. Like it just like pulls it out of the, back down from the stratosphere, I guess you could say. And you can see it. If you just zoom out on the charts, it's always happening, right? Here's one, pulled it back down for a second, went back up real quick. Here's one, pulled it back down, not exactly to the 50 moving average, but it was a beautiful consolidation phase for Bitcoin. Again, this is what we'd be looking at, pulling it back down. So first area of support is the 618 on the Fibonacci retracement. So here it is, swing high, swing low, 618, right? This upper line of this Fibonacci channel. It's around $9,000. It's an awesome area where I'll be buying some Bitcoin, knowing full well we could go lower. It's just a good area for me where I'll be buying more Bitcoin. That's kind of what we're looking at in terms of the one trend line and one of the two Fibonacci's that we're tracking on Bitcoin. So if on the shorter term you really want to look at Bitcoin in terms of support, we have our trend line we just talked about, right? We have that already on the daily we talked about, and then we have our long-term Fibonacci retracement. But I have a 4-hour retracement, Fibonacci retracement. I want to just chart because I'm keeping an eye on it. You don't have to. But that is this swing low that we had kind of like June 18th, 5 days ago or so, to our swing high. This is another area I think we could see some support in, and I want to put a rectangle here for you. So that would be 618 of 9,700 down to 9,400. This is when I do like a kind of smaller spontaneous buy, and maybe loosening up my buying fingers for when we get to the larger Fibonacci retracement, if we get there, right? And so we just noticed on the daily chart that is 9,000 down to 8,300. So I want to put that on the 4-hour so you have a nice illustration. 9,000 down to, what did I say? I think 8,300. I'll have to go check. 9,000, 8,300, yes. So this is it. This is what I'm looking at on Bitcoin right now. There's 3 very solid areas of consolidation, pullbacks that I'm keeping an eye on. Will we get there? I don't know. Why do I keep deleting that? Let me chart it here. Okay. Very short term where I'm really not doing anything. I'm just keeping an eye on it, right? We can mark it in red. This green one here, first Fibonacci, shorter term Fibonacci, 618. 618 to 786. And I'm trying to chart these support areas, not just to be like, hey, look for support here, and then, you know, whatever. I'm trying to actually show you what I do. This is what I do when I'm buying Bitcoin and Litecoin. This is my approach, just to let everybody know. I'm being completely transparent here. There's sometimes we don't get down here, and I just don't buy, right? So right here, you know, 8,300 10,300 down to 10,000 or so. If we come into that area and we actually bounce back up and I didn't buy, I might have missed a nice little opportunity to buy some Bitcoin. I'm completely fine with that. I just like bigger dips. I'm not here to buy, you know, from swing high that we just had down here, 5 to 10% dips. I don't usually do that. Most of you, if you've been watching my channel, I'm buying these ones, 15% down to here, up to 30%. That's where I like to buy my Bitcoin, no matter what kind of market we're in. So this is what it looks like charted here. I'm doing this video simply because we're getting little hints that these areas might actually be in play soon, right? We might have a nice little consolidation phase that lasts more than just, you know, 8 hours. Like we could have a little bit of a downtrend in the coming days. And I just want to put this out there because this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm prepared for. I'm prepared to buy some Bitcoin in these areas. And if we get a pullback to these areas, it's just very healthy, in my opinion. It's not a bad thing. And I just want to throw that out there. So in terms of Bitcoin, and then we'll hop over to Litecoin, last thing I want to talk about on Bitcoin is this. This is the monthly chart. This chart is actually incredibly exciting to go watch. It's just, if you're long on Bitcoin, there's no better chart really just to go open. Paints such a good picture that you could talk about a million different ways. Mexican Charlie Lee, 499 super chat. Thank you, dude. Give me wrench so these guys stop messing with me. All right, I'll deal with that later, dude. They do it because they love you. Thank you for the super chat. I really will. I'll hit you up. We'll take care of you, Mexican Charlie. So monthly chart. The reason I'm pulling up the monthly chart is this, because I really want to illustrate this, especially if you're new here to crypto. If you've been watching these videos or other technical analysis videos for a while, if you've been watching Bitcoin, this might be a little boring to you, because I think a lot of people that have been here a while are well aware of pullbacks and why they're important. But if you're new here, this is probably the most important thing you can just be aware of, which is not only how commonplace pullbacks are in cryptocurrency, but also if you're a permeable, right? If you're just constantly thinking, dreaming, talking about the moon, if you want that to happen, you better start embracing and loving and waiting for pullbacks. Those scary moments in crypto where social crypto is freaking out. You really better start loving those times. And the reason is this. Number one, because they happen, but number two, because it is the path to greatness. If you want $100,000 Bitcoin, the path for that requires huge pullbacks. And it's evidence on the zoomed out long-term charts for Bitcoin. It's the way Bitcoin operates, especially in the early days, right? So this is what it looks like zoomed out. Do you see the ups and downs? That will continue. So please be ready for the ups and downs. And illustrated on the monthly chart, Jim Flanagan, thank you for the $20 super chat. It was awesome seeing you again yesterday. I love the Litecoin hat. I don't know what to say. But Sarah and I, we enjoyed talking with you yesterday and just hanging out. Man, such a cool time. I'm going to talk about it a little bit at the end of this video, but monthly, what do we have going on? Well, it's pretty simple. We have from February on this monthly chart, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extremely strong looking monthly green candles. So when you start getting into that territory, you have to start being very prepared for a pullback, for those red candles to arrive, to show up. You know, I don't know if maybe we'll hit our target at 12,700 first, and then we're going to get a large consolidation. I can't tell you when it's going to happen. And sometimes it's, I see people in the comments and they're kind of asking me to tell them when, but I can't tell you. Nobody can. It's the matter of fact that it will happen, and the importance of it happening. So I think just please always have it in the back of your mind, even if you don't want to think about it subconsciously. Please just have it there. Pullbacks happen. So we have 5 months monthly candles so far in the green. If you just look back, I mean, this chart's going back to 2011, right? Like, even back here, parabolic gains for Bitcoin. We can take the price range out from this green candle down here to swing high, 2,500%. All right, 2,600%, right? And we have, what do we have then? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 months. And then, for context, from that swing high to a new swing low, what did Bitcoin do? It would have been awesome if you're enjoying that ride up in those 6 months, but every month you're just like, dude, there's a pullback coming. I want to be ready. I want to have some fiat ready. I want to accumulate more Bitcoin, because we had a 70%. Bitcoin had a 70% in that May of 2013 decline. People freaking out. Awesome area to accumulate Bitcoin, especially historically. If you're looking back now, I mean, $82 Bitcoin. Who wouldn't want that? And it's a perfect illustration of why being ready for pullbacks is so important. Now, what was Bitcoin doing? It was consolidating. It had 2 months of consolidation, 60, 70%. And what's funny is if you look at actually this green candle here, for a brief time, it appears from swing high to swing low, it's actually like 76%, right? We actually closed that month in the green, but it was a volatile month. Now, all 3 of those months, when we're hitting $82, good time to buy some Bitcoin. Historically, it shows that it always happens, right? So then we had followed by a next uptrend, 1, 2. This is a weird little month, not much happening, but 3, 4, 5, a 5-month uptrend. And then what happens again? Consolidation, a pullback. Now that pullback, almost 70% again, followed by much more, 70%, 87%. You get the point, right? So here's the monthly chart. Pullbacks happen. This is going back into, we started 2011. Now we're back in 2014, going into that 2015 bear market bottom, into our last bull market. A lot of you were here in that last bull market. Pullbacks, even if for a brief time, pullbacks, areas of consolidation. Here's one, price range wise, swing high to swing low, 40%, right? Here's a huge monthly candle, 41% to the upside. That's after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monthly green candles, 375% to the upside. It sounds very familiar. 375%, 5 green monthly candles, followed by a very large 1 month, September 2017 consolidation, 40%. Sounds very familiar, right? Looks very familiar. Not 375% to the upside, but 250+%. Now, so realistically speaking, if you're taking this approach and you're kind of, thinking of this in a patient manner, you could properly anticipate that we could easily get, a month of 40% downside, and we can be at like $6,800, $7,000 in July. Maybe August is when it'll happen, right? I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's important to be ready for it. And the reason why I think it's important isn't just because I'm trying to just offer technical analysis videos. The reason it's so important to me is because that's an area where I'm buying Bitcoin. Like I'm buying a good amount of Bitcoin in an area like that. Like a 40% to the downside is such a strong opportunity right now, especially if we're at the very beginning of entering a bull market. So that's it. I'm not going to harp on it all day long, but I definitely toned down my talk of pullbacks. I hate being called bearish when I'm everything but bearish. So I just don't talk about pullbacks as much. Always thinking about pullbacks, always ready for it. And I think today was a good opportunity to discuss it. That's what we're looking at. Be ready for it. We have our targets to the downside. When I'm personally buying, I don't know if we'll get there, but if we get there, you can say, hey, Dan's buying some Bitcoin right now. It's not financial advice. This is just me sharing my approach with you. It's partly why I started the channel, just to document this. This is history, in my opinion. I want to document it. I want to document my journey in terms of tracking this thing called Bitcoin. So moving over to Litecoin. First off, yesterday wasn't even a Litecoin meetup, which is funny. It's a Bitcoin Ben meetup, but there were so many Litecoin people there. Awesome meeting some of you. Awesome seeing some of you again. I'm going to have Sarah come over in a little bit, but, it was just fun. And I tweeted Litecoin. I tweeted about Litecoin May 24th, June 23rd. Less than a month ago, I tweeted, retweet if you also think Litecoin looks beautiful above 100. I tweeted that because we just broke $100. Now, since that happened, it's extremely cool to see what has transpired, right? Since that day that I tweeted that, which was the 24th, right here. Here's this big green candle. It was an awesome day, right? 15% day followed by like 3 more bullish days, eventually hitting almost 40% for Litecoin, breaking through 100. I remember breaking down below 100. And the journey that was ahead was a tough journey, especially to do technical analysis videos through that mess, that bear market mess. But it's cool that we've come so far. And I want to put that into perspective. Like Litecoin's down a very little bit right now. And I see people tweeting, kind of worrisome tweets. But please just remember how far we've come. Not only since a month ago when I tweeted that, obviously, swing high, we're up 65% in less than a month. Come on, where else can you get that? But not only that, this whole entire year has been insane. Going back to April, we're up 124%. Going back to March, we're up 224%. Going back to January, we're up 397%. Swing low to December, everybody, 550%. How can you not love that? It's insane. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, perspective. This is a long-term game. If you're always zoomed in and seeing Litecoin, Bitcoin going down 5%, 10%, and you think it's the end, or you're kind of too emotional about it, just zoom out on the charts. Just do that. Zoom out on the charts. Look at where we come from. Look at where the market cycles have been, and look how much time it's taken. So what I want to talk about in terms of Litecoin is a new pattern that I think we can track at this point. We have a symmetrical triangle, this one in white, which is pretty much, no longer viable in my opinion. So I'm going to scratch that. It didn't play out, but it led us into a new pattern. This is why we do technical analysis. These things change. This is an ever-changing environment. That's why I do technical analysis videos every day, even in the bear markets. This is why I do these things. I want to track it. I'm doing it on my spare time, so I figure I share it with you as well. And I know a lot of you also track these things. So these things change. Patterns change. Patterns don't always play out. But when they do, it's beautiful. And often, look how many patterns throughout the year we've tracked so far that they've just played out. It's been awesome. This one, the symmetrical triangle we see in white, it didn't play out. We were looking for a breakout for Litecoin out through the upside, and it just didn't happen. We broke nicely, closer to the apex, which is it was a nice breakout area, probably like 70% or so to the apex. But we've come back down. Certainly, we can use this trend line if we want, of higher highs and higher lows, but for a different context, right? We're not going to track this symmetrical triangle in white anymore. We can use this next higher low in a different pattern, which we will, and that different pattern is this one. It's based on the fact that we just saw another resistance here, in this 145 region, which we had a swing high back to that area on June 12th, right? So swing high there, swing high today, and we've talked about this this ascending triangle setting up, and we had the upper trend line down here for, a few days. Now, we have a way more reliable and kind of bullish looking ascending triangle. I'm not saying it's going to play out to the upside. It doesn't always play out to the upside, everybody. This could be a strong move down, but let's check it out. Let's look at it. I didn't want to do that. So let's look at it on the 4-hour. This is what it looks like. All we did was we move our upper trend line to the top. We have the second swing high, right? So we have a first swing high, we have a second swing high, and obviously we have our series of higher lows here. It's just a really nice looking symmetrical triangle, ascending triangle. I think Master of Litecoin actually tweeted me about it. I think that's I forget what his @name is, but I think he tagged me in it or posted it on one of my tweets. I think this is the one he's looking at, and it's looking like a nice setup. So it's just probably the most reliable pattern we can track right now if we're tracking patterns, with a breakout target of like that 167 area. We can really call it 165 to 170, but it's all up in there. We have a breakout target to the upside. Right now, we have consolidation right now, obviously happening for Litecoin. We just talked about it on Bitcoin. This is what it looks like on Litecoin. A little bit different in terms of pattern and setup and all that good stuff, but same principles apply. We have a pattern. We take our Fibonacci previous swing low on the 4-hour chart to our swing high that we just had. First time Litecoin has hit 140. Did it hit 146? I don't even know, but pretty much 146 in a while. So we take that swing high on Fibonacci from that swing low, and we have our new Fibonacci retracement on the 4-hour chart. It's a nice area in real time that we can track, we can watch. It's right there, the 618, right around 135, which we're in, down to 132. On the very short term, this is the area where I would say, watch for support. And this is an area where you might have some people that are trading. You might have people anticipating just this is a new swing low, higher low. It's going to bounce back up, and they'll be looking for accumulate, a little bit of a buy down here and a sell up here, right? 8% gains. Go for it. That's not my game. That's not my style. That's not what I do. Jim Flanagan, $20 super chat again. Jim, thank you for the super chat. Launchpad Foundation all the way. He says a year ago in the bear market, we talked about live streams during a bull market and we made it. 100% agree. And I totally remember all bear market, I would say, in so many videos. I can't wait to do technical analysis in a bull market. And we've had some amazing gains, and it's been extremely fun tracking this. So back to the 4-hour. This is what we're watching. 135 down to 132 right now. You can see, this 4-hour candle, at least as of right now, seeing some support does not necessarily mean that we won't break to the downside. And I just, I want you to 100% be aware of that. Target to the downside still in that 115 area. Very similar to what we had coming out of that symmetrical triangle that we just are pretty much scratching. I'm just going to delete it. Our breakout target to there was the 112. We called it 110. I think still a nice large retracement for Litecoin would look like 115 down to 110. It's still in play. We just have kind of a different pattern in play and a different take on the breakout target to the downside. That's what it's looking like. Is an ascending triangle more bullish? Yes. We talked about the 165 to 170 target. But to the downside, now we're talking a target which I could start buying a little bit more heavy on the Litecoin. That's down here in the 115 area. Coming down from 134, which is where we are right now, you can see we're talking nothing crazy. 115, 15% or so. So again, based on our targets with Bitcoin, we were just talking about, very harmonious with each other in terms of downside targets. So that's kind of what I'm tracking on Bitcoin and Litecoin, all to say these pullbacks, not a bad thing. Truly, truly healthy. And I just want to throw that out there. I just want to really remind everybody, keep an eye. We've had a lot of, instances where Bitcoin, Litecoin, they're breaking through patterns and they're really revisiting these trend lines. It doesn't always happen. If you've been watching my TA for more than a year or throughout the last year, I always talk about it happening. I like when it happens. Here's a perfect example of it happening twice in the same symmetrical triangle. False breakout to the downside, break back up, right? Revisit to that trend line and then blast off. Those are my favorite because these wicks here you see on the 4-hour are huge confirmations of nice support, right? So on the flip side, just want to throw that out there, something to keep it in the back of your mind. If we get a breakdown through the downside of this ascending triangle, we break this previous higher low at 128, keep an eye out. If we revisit and get a little false pump back to this lower trend line, what do those candles look like? What does momentum look like? Are we breaking through that trend line? Are we seeing sideways resistance? Be careful in that environment. Those are the scary environments to the downside where we just get continued downside. So that's something I'll be anticipating, looking out for. And I think we really, I think we covered the upside and downside potential. All to say this, I don't know what your portfolio looks like, but you know what I'm doing. And you know how I'm going about it. Right now, if we get a break to the upside and we're going up to $165 Litecoin, I'm doing nothing but sitting back and enjoying the ride. And that is simply because we waited all year for just an awesome setup, an awesome area to accumulate some heavy Litecoin. And I'm enjoying the gains since then. Obviously we were here before last all-time highs. But to get this opportunity to buy Litecoin down here again was awesome. So I'm enjoying the ride. What happens on the short term, always up in the air. Nobody ever knows. Don't listen to YouTubers. Don't take financial advice from YouTubers, please, everybody. If you're here right now, don't do it. So that's what we're looking at. I want to say, I posted a video earlier. If you're wondering how bullish I am on the space, this is it. I said, everyone talking about $100,000 Bitcoin. Do I think this year is the year Bitcoin will reach 100K? No, I don't. I know there's some people that think we're going to $100,000 this year. I'm not one of those people. 2020, I truly believe it's a possibility. I charted this. Many of you might be familiar with this chart. I charted it back in December. I'll put a link, actually right now even, in the chat. If you feel like reading through what all this means, you can definitely do that if you have some time. But on this chart here, I have a $90,000 Bitcoin by, I think, 2021. Now, I did a video earlier, which is why I'm bringing it up. It's right here, $100,000 Bitcoin sooner than most realize, because we look at how Bitcoin is actually moving quicker, way quicker. And I actually just show you, I believe on the monthly chart, I think I used the monthly chart in today's video, I don't remember. It's just moving quicker out of this bottom than it has previously. And we use the halving for context in telling that story in the video earlier. It's not a long video. It is 8 minutes, 28 seconds. Not a long video. Go check it out if you have some time. I got, and I want to bring this up, not in a negative manner at all, but I got a couple comments. This dude, Nick, says, don't lead people on. When you first started, you were pumping pretty good content out. Now the stuff you pump out is very questionable. So me talking about $100,000 apparently to some people is questionable. I mean, I don't know how long he's been watching my videos. I'm so long on Bitcoin and I'm so bullish on this space. $100,000 is the tipping point. What is $100,000? In that video I talked about, it's like a $700 billion market cap. $700 billion market cap is $50,000. So $100,000, not much more, extremely early. In terms of this world changing currency, it's nothing. So, I don't know why he's saying that I'm, putting questionable stuff out and leading people on. But these are just my thoughts, dude. I've had $100,000 on my mind since I started buying Bitcoin pretty much, right? And it's 100% realistic in 2020. I got this one. It's 100% possibility I will be the next Queen of England. What a bunch of BS. Anything is 100% possibility. You used to be helpful. Now you've turned into a scam artist. Do you see what I have to deal with, everybody, for doing a $100,000 video? I said it's sad you feel that way when reality is opposite. Hope you have a better day tomorrow. God bless. And that's simply true. The reality is opposite. Number one, I'm bullish on 100,000, and number two, everything from super chats on this channel we put towards an amazing cause. I'm not here to scam anybody. So those comments, what's hilarious about those two dudes, they follow me. And my advice to people that don't like me and like my content, just unfollow me. Don't waste your time on people that you just don't like. It's not beneficial to anybody. So those are my thoughts. In terms of yesterday, just want to say, I can't tell you how awesome it was. There was a Bitcoin Ben meetup. I don't know. Who do we have here? I see Rob in the chats. Steven Herzog is in the chats. Who else? Anybody here that was there yesterday? Jim Flanagan, I see. Poseidon Lou, unfortunately not there. This girl was here. This girl was there. And, we want to say thank you to everybody for making us feel special to kind of go hang out. First of all, we were extremely late. We're very busy trying to get, packed and storage stuff for our move in a couple weeks. But we stinking made it. And how cool was that?
It was awesome. It was awesome to finally see, have to be able to meet the people there. Crypto Nana, it was so fun to meet you. Lisa, there's so many people there, and we were happy we could make it. Cheers. And yeah, there's so many other names that I can't remember right now, but it's so good to finally, how would you say, to finally have a
put a face to the name.
Yes, and it was really fun to be able to talk with all of you in there. There's one name I can't.
Well, who did you say? Crypto Nana, Litecoin Lisa.
I wanted to say what's his name? I have it. I just need a couple minutes.
Tech Lords.
Yes, Tech Lords. It was so fun to be able to chat with you. And it was just amazing. And thank you, Ben, for hosting this amazing evening, the event. It was really nice, and it was fun. We can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, Bitcoin Ben. There was a lot of people there too, but appreciate it. And obviously we didn't name everybody that we were able to meet, but it was awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember all the names, but it's really nice, and hopefully it's not the last time we get to see everybody.
Right? I don't think it will be the last time. Which is a good segue. If you weren't there, maybe you're on the West Coast or something, or you're thinking about going to Litecoin Summit, do it. Because we'll be there, hanging out.
Yeah.
And we'll meet more of you all. It'll be awesome. Dude, look at these guys. Jim Flanagan with a $10 super chat. Round up to 50 for your foundation.
You too. I saw you there too.
We were talking to Tech Lords yesterday. I told them July we're going to be going to Philly. We're cutting a check on behalf of our foundation. We'll have an amount. We'll video it. We want to share it with you all. You guys are a huge part of that. It's going to be extremely awesome. So thanks, Jim, for the super chats. Poseidon Lou, 99. Poseidon Lou just put $99. Bull market is back. It's about that time, dude. Poseidon Lou, you're killing me, dude. I love you, man.
We wish you lived close.
Thank you for the $99 super chat, Lou. I can't wait to treat you and spoil you, man, once I see you.
Dominic.
Where's Dom? Oh, there's Dom. Dom is in the house. He wasn't there yesterday. I thought he was going to be. Thank you, man. I appreciate the super chats, everybody. Look, there's Drew Blood.
Drew Blood. Hey, Drew!
You guys are awesome. Your support is awesome. I love that we're in this together. Right? Don't you just feel like it's a bunch of cool peeps?
Yeah, this is funny because I didn't meet probably half of the people that I met yesterday, but I felt like I already met them before. It's a great experience, and the whole thing is just feel like we are a family. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was. It's like overwhelming meeting people that you haven't met before, but at the same time, it's very it's like a kind of a relief. It's very cool. So, this is just the beginning too, babe.
Yeah.
This stuff is getting exciting. I think it was Rob. I was like, it's internet money bringing together internet people. Right? It's just it's weird, but it's awesome at the same time. So
it's a huge community.
Yeah. So that's it. We just want to thank everybody for, being there and being able to meet you all. It was awesome. Your support for the LAUNCHPAD Foundation just has been an incredible blessing. We appreciate you. If you're still here and you watch this live stream, thanks for coming by. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button, right?
And you guys probably will see me more often since a lot of people mention that I should be in the videos more
Apparently.
often.
I feel like, who was it yesterday? I was definitely Crypto Nana.
Nana, and yeah, there's quite a few people then.
So everybody wants Sarah. Everybody's sick of Dan. Whatever. So we're going to be moving soon. I'll have a studio set up for YouTube videos, and I think I'll invite Sarah into the studio sometimes to hang out, do some videos.
Please do.
But yeah, you'll be seeing Sarah more, having some fun with it, having some fun with life. You guys are awesome. We love you. We'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day, and God bless.